All
Something like that.
right. Welcome. Looks like we are live. Welcome to week 23 of the Crazy Writer Chicks weekly live events. Here tonight, my name is Nikki Rome. I'm here with Rebecca White and Winter Navi as usual, and we are back from Vegas. We
That
are
was
back from
something.
Vegas, which has, yes, that was something, which prompted our conversation this week. So we are here to talk about investing in you. Really what that looks like, what that means to us, because I think what we've noticed, at least over the last week or so of posts in our Facebook group, investing in yourself looks really different to a lot of people. I think
Mhm.
we've seen everything from, sleep to money. And I could agree with pretty much everything that we saw too, because
Yeah.
sometimes it seems really, really hard to invest in yourself, especially when it's something that involves our own creativity, which is what is kind of that underlying cause that brings us all together. The three of us happen to be writers, but we have loads of creators that are here within our group. And sometimes it's is it a hobby? Is it a job? Should I spend money on it?
Yeah.
Should I spend time on it? And so there's a lot of feelings and emotions that go into all that. So we'll kind of start with that and let you guys in on a little bit about what Vegas looked like for us. And I think we can all each share the reasons why we actually did it, because investing money and a week's worth of time is a big thing. And we made the choice to do it. And so I'm pretty proud of us that we went. But let's see, who wants to kick us off?
With why we went to Vegas?
I guess should we start with that question? Why did we go to Vegas? Becca,
Sure.
it's your
We can
fault.
we can
So we'll start
generalize
with
after
you.
that. I wanted to go last year, but at the same time, I didn't. Like, I have a real, and we can get into it more later, but the thought of investing money in something that's not a done deal, like if it's something for the house or if it's something educational that is like guaranteed to move someone forward, I don't have problems with it. Well, not that there's ever a guarantee. But, something like this, it was a hard choice. Um, but at the same time, it was like, but how do you not? I mean, it's just such an amazing opportunity.
I think the
So,
opposite was me. As soon as you told me about it, I was all in from the beginning. I'm like, let's go. When do we book it? Um, but then, a pandemic hit and all that. And it's like, I don't know, should we still go? And that was part of what a lot of the reason I think why we had just booked so last minute was because we didn't really know what was going to happen. So just to give you guys the abridged version, if you haven't been following along, the three of us went to the 20 Books to 50K conference for writers. It's a conference that is had every year. It's run by the group 20 Books to 50K, and it talks all about leveling up your author business, your writing career. And it's leveling up in whatever way you see leveling up.
right.
Um,
Building a foundation.
building a foundation, building something, right? And I know I can speak for myself personally. Build for me is money, right? I would like to make a business out of what I'm doing because I really love and enjoy doing it. But being there throughout the week, we met a lot of people who were leveling up in different ways. Maybe it was notoriety, or they were making a run for a New York Times bestseller thing, or maybe it was a job that they had started when they were retired and they're just looking to figure out how to publish some books and have some fun with it. So that I think was the really cool part, is each of the
Mhm.
individual speakers that we got to attend, we got their outlook on it. And so it really worked for anybody who was in the audience. The conference itself brings in like the heavy hitters. I mean, we were sitting there in rooms with people who make headlines as far as success in this author business. So it
And
was
millions.
really, yeah, if we're going to talk
Yeah.
money,
Yeah.
millions
Like,
and millions of dollars. Like, I think, what did Dawson say? His biggest month ever in his career was over $400,000 in 1 month. So these are the people that we were learning from. It is, to me, that was a lot of the reason why I was like, okay, let's go. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I just published my first series this year. So this is all very new to me. I had no idea I was going to enjoy it as much as I am. So to be able to sit in a room with people who've really made it work and literally pick their brains, ask the questions because they were all there and open and ready to answer them,
mhm.
it seemed like a no-brainer. But there's cost that goes to it, and there's a week away from family. And I have two very monstrous children. So there's a lot of organization of stuff to disappear for a week. It's not like,
Yeah.
hey, husband, see you in
Yeah.
a week. It's okay, who's going to take them to therapy and who's going to be here in the morning to take them to school on the day that you can't go. Um, but in the end, it was worth it times a million. And I will 1,000% be going back next year because it just feeds you with so much motivation and excitement about your passion. And I think that's the big part. What I do creatively, the writing that I do, that's my passion. And so some of us, the creativity that we do has already become our job. Um, but it's about not losing that passion and still remaining focused. So,
Mm.
yeah, I was all in and can't wait to go back. Even if I end up losing money every year, it was a blast.
One of my
Winter, how
favorite
about you? Oh,
oh,
sorry.
one of my favorite things about it was, like you mentioned, the people being willing to talk to you,
Yes.
because it seems like that's not really popular in today's world. If someone is telling you ways to help you in your career, it's because they're getting paid to tell you how to help you, like all
Because
these
you're paying them.
motivational speakers and everything. Yeah, you're paying them or someone's paying them, right, to motivate you and inform you, and these people were not, and that, I think that could be an inspiring lesson
Benefit
to
from it.
anyone in their field. Yeah, I mean, they got
Well,
whatever
we
was given
got,
to them
yeah.
too, but, like, yeah, like because 'cause they're sharing
Yeah,
information too, but, like, yeah, they're not getting anything from me, even though they're helping me.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
and that seems not, to be not normal. It's not
We
normal,
should
but
mention, just for those of you who are a writer, the cost of the conference is $299 for 5 days of content. So for those of you who are out there looking at these other workshops and conferences and courses for hundreds of dollars, not to discredit them any, but if you're going to put your money in a basket, this is the one that's going to get you the most amount of return.
yeah, for
And the
sure.
Craig Martell, who runs the group, has already said this will always be the cost. It will be the cost next year as well. So to have, I mean, I think wasn't it over 150 different sessions over the 5 days that you could choose from? And
I
like
don't
Becca
remember.
said, a load of people who are just wandering the halls ready to talk to you. The cost of it
Mhm.
overall is really, I mean, you got to get to Vegas and stay in Vegas and eat in Vegas. But it is the cost of the conference itself, the content of the conference is just so affordable. So affordable.
Mhm.
So if you didn't know already, I'm back home. I mean, it's been a while, about 3 months, and my dog is here. So, and somebody just walked past the house. So, for me, I wanted to go as soon as I knew the event. I love going to events. I go often. I'm actually going next month in December back to Vegas for this conference. And because um, the point of this conversation is what investing in yourself, and I understand that sometimes you need to do that to learn more from those who've already been there, who have gone through the struggle, so that you don't go through the same struggles that they did. I want you to. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
There's some of that going
um,
around.
the
I think that's one thing. Winter's always identified different ways to invest in herself. I've noticed that from
Yeah.
when we first started interacting, is she'd always find like the next course or the next thing to do. And she's always open to that, where some of them, I've got to say, I've been pretty skeptical of when I see these things pop across my desk through like Facebook advertising or something. Like the one, actually, we were in Vegas and I had shared with Becca, there's like a women's conference coming up, a women's writers conference coming up. And I was like, oh, this looks great. Let me check it out. And I pulled it up, and not to discredit what they're doing, but I didn't recognize any of the speakers. It was what I say, 160 or 190 bucks or
70
something
or
like that.
80 or something
Yeah,
like that, yeah.
I think
Upper.
it was like 175 or something. for 2 days of virtual sessions. I think it was like 10 sessions each. And so when you spend $299 for a week's worth of content, it's kind of hard to pay that much for something else.
Yeah. In person with access to the speakers and
Yeah.
not speakers. Yeah.
And to be fair, I totally underestimated that part of the conference. I mean, I was like, yeah, they'll be there, but like, are they really going to talk to us? They're like literally just standing at tables waiting for people to come up and ask them questions. And so, I mean, that part of it was huge. It was huge.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, you're in the area. I was in the elevator one morning and I literally, you know, they're like, read the name tags they tell you on the first night because you never know who you're standing next to. And I'm in the elevator going down one morning with Brian Cohen, which if you're an author, you've heard all of his ad courses, all of his
Right?
ad challenges. I mean, he's all over the place. And I was like, dude, you're Brian Cohen. Like, you're the reason why I have ads on Amazon. It's just one of those things that you just don't expect to see people. And I don't know, did you see the post today? Joanna Penn has confirmed for
Oh,
2022.
yes, I did see that.
Nice.
I'm so excited.
I did.
Getting a
Joanna
fangirl.
Penn was one of the very
Just go back
first
and say-
podcasts I ever listened to. And so like to meet her, I will die. This is like you and Becca Syme. Like I will have to fangirl picture and the whole thing. Sorry, Winter, welcome back.
Thank you. Sorry, we had a delivery guy or someone to open the gate, so my dog ran outside and get. I was just going to say, like, there's 9, which is like a really, really small fee for 5 days, right? But on top of that, they give you the virtual option for free. Like, you can stay home and do it. Now, the benefit of paying the $300 and going is the atmosphere. You are surrounded by creative people who are on fire, who are loving it. You might not even go to the class. You might sit and talk to people all day, whether you're an introverted, extrovert, or introvert, you know, having fun. But at the same time, majority of the sessions are recorded, so you can go back and watch them later. So you never feel like you're really missing out. So it's just really cool. It's cool to go with a group of people because when you do hit your introverted limit, you can go back and find your group and say, I just need a moment. I need a break. I need to see someone I know. I need to go to take 15 minutes to myself. And you don't have to feel bad about it because any information you missed, you can find later. And it was awesome. People who you're talking to, and you might not have heard of them, and they on stage later, and you're like, oh, I was just talking to a really big deal.
Had a conversation.
And they know my name now, and that's kind of cool. And they wave to me in the hall. It's just really cool. You never know who you meet, and nobody toots their own horn. Nobody was like, I'm the big. They're like, this is how I got to where I got, and this is what you can do too. And nobody minds if you walk up to them. It's the coolest thing. Just don't do it in the bathroom. Just give them some space.
That's the rule.
I think one of the best comments, like the whole conference, was during the Q&A and the last panel. And someone had asked, it wasn't Kayla Stone, Caroline Peckham? And they had asked about imposter syndrome, which you guys know, we've done an event on that before. If you want to see it, check out our YouTube page because it's up there. It was a really good conversation. But the person had asked, when do you get over imposter syndrome? Like, when do you feel like you've got it? And Caroline was like, I'll take this one. And she goes, I came up, I didn't know I was scheduled for this. I thought it was a mistake. So I had emailed Craig to confirm and he said, yes, you're there. And then walking on the stage, I went and checked the nameplates to make sure that my name was really there because again, I wasn't really certain I was supposed to be there. And so she was like, so I think like right now, maybe I feel like I made it a little bit. Now, Caroline Peckham has been an extremely successful author. She writes with her sister. In fact, at the signing event, she had like a line wrapped around the table because it was her signing. People were dying to meet her. And it's funny to me that after all this time, she's been writing for quite a few years, And being there, she was like, okay, right now, standing on this stage, I feel like I made it. Like standing amongst all of my peers doing what we're doing, I feel like I made it. And sometimes I think it really does take more than just the investment of like the class, the conference, the time of that one-time event, but the ongoing, right? Because that's what it is. With this one, you don't want what we did in Vegas to stay in Vegas. Like, what's the plan now? And I met authors that before they even got on their plane to go home, they were sitting with others and brainstorming, putting together their plans for 2022. And this is how they do it every year. They come to the conference, they put their plan together, and they go home and they start implementing it. And I'll be honest with you, that's not a bad idea, right?
No, it's a good idea.
Because I came home to a kid with a snotty nose, a broken dryer, work on Monday, and 78 emails that needed me to do something with them. And I was like, so when do I do all that other stuff?
Mhm.
That's the tricky part.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that going to a conference or something like that can do for you is that jolt and the fellowship. And whether it's writing or any kind of art or anything, it's worth looking into, like going somewhere because like you said, you might be able to take that class online,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same. And it's not to say that all conferences are going to have the same welcoming from the people that have made it farther.
No,
But
I would
but they
guarantee it's
might
not always
that
the
at least
same.
find some people, right? Like at least
Yeah.
and that to have that motivation and those people to talk to, excuse me, and yeah, there's things you can't get from online.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think, I mean, I know you mentioned the
Mostly
virtual
the
option is free
energy
this
too.
year. I think they said next year they are going to start charging a small fee for virtual, but it's only like $20. So again, if you
It's still
can't
worth
do
it.
it at all, at least try and do some of it. You know, it's worth it a little bit.
Mm.
But you know, taking it beyond Vegas, like what are your next steps for both of you? Like Becca, I know we've talked on the plane, so I have a little idea what your next steps look like. They're kind of similar to mine, unless they've changed over the last few days, which Lord knows they probably have. But like what were your biggest takeaway and what are your next steps so that you continue to invest in yourself?
Winter, do you want to answer this first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see a sign that says connected. Okay. Um, so I actually is a writer before leaving town.
Oh, now we can't hear you.
I don't know what you did. We just lost your
What?
volume. No,
Mm. Do you want me to talk while she's trying to figure it out?
probably.
So, I mean, I haven't written down a specific plan yet. But I know things that I have to do. Like I
Mhm.
have to get my email list really up and running with some autoresponders, and I need to really start and get a reader magnet so that people are enticed to join that mailing list. I need to set up an author group and I have to figure out the
Reader
difference between,
group.
sorry, or reader
You
group.
said author group.
Yeah, for my author page, like not my
Oh yeah,
personal is
yeah,
what I mean, like a group for me as an author.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess you call it a reader group. And I still have to figure out where the line is between what should go in and a group versus on a page. I don't feel like I fully understand that yet. Um, and I have to write books. Besides the magnet, I need to publish at least 2 books next year. I really want to aim for 3.
Yeah.
But I'm not the type that can do like a hard and fast because I have to understand that life doesn't ever go the way I expect it to.
Right.
And things happen. And I'm not staying up all night to write because like that is not my personality. I'm not going to be that person that's like, but I have a deadline
Yeah.
because other parts of my life are important to me too. They're more important to me. I mean, this is really important to me, but it's not the most important thing to me. Um, and maybe someday it will, but not while I have a kid at home for sure. So,
Yeah.
and
And
then
I
I'll
think
find
that's
something else.
important. I mean, we saw a lot of different speakers who were like, stop your entire life and just write
Yeah.
nonstop for a year. And then a
Yeah.
lot of them were like, listen, make writing fit into your life. And I'm more at the place in my current life where this needs to fit into my life. I cannot take over my life. But yeah, I think that's a big part of it too, is just figuring out that balance. Winter, you're back. Can we hear you?
Can you?
Yeah.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
there's a little delay, but that's okay.
Yay.
Mhm.
Okay. Always in my life. Okay. So meditating, because like our first sessions have our videos, our lives had been on meditating, and been really trying to adapt it in my life and research on it. And so I've decided every morning at 4 a.m. I'm going to meditate, and at 5 a.m. I'm going to start writing. And for the past 2 nights, I've set my alarm for 4 a.m. and I've woken up wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I'm like, oh, my body is way more about me writing than myself. So I think I'm just gonna have to do the night writing and stick to it, and because I get so many ideas last night, and I was like, oh, I'm ready to go. And right before I left Vegas, I met up with another amazing writer and finally got a fully clear idea of where this current series is going. And it's completely mapped out now. The big picture I did with her was an 8-book series. And then all yesterday, I mapped out all the shows, and I know what's happening in every book all the way up to the 8th. And I'm really excited about that because I'm shadowing and all my other stuff. I want to finish so that I can jump into my other one with feeling ready to get back into. So right now I'm attempting to, my plan is to just dive right in and just to write every day, a minimum of 6 hours, and be done by noon. That way I feel like I have the rest of the day to anything else that I feel is necessary to do. But that was with me starting writing at 5. The plan was to write 5 to 7, which was recommended by another writer that was there. 5 to 7, from 7 to 8, and then from 8 to 12. Apparently, my body has decided I'm going to be writing from 3 to 5, then uh, to maybe 10, maybe 12. We'll see. It's a plan for now. And if that will allow me to put out books faster and sneaky roam, please try that. But if not, I'm okay with being every few months, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if I would
So that's
ever
my plan.
rapid release 6-book again. So don't feel like you need to follow in those footsteps. It was chaos. I think
No, I would have to have
can't.
at least 3 books before that.
Yeah, I need a plan, but like probably more of a plan than Becca, but less structure than Winter. We're like, I would like to my goal this week is to map out what next year looks like when I'm releasing what. I am the master procrastinator, and so I've learned early on in my life that I need like external motivators in order to stay on track. And so if I'm like, oh, well, this came up today, I didn't get to it, then it'll be 2 weeks later before I do something again if I don't have a deadline looming. So I will be sharing my
Yeah,
deadlines
that's
probably with Becca, at least somebody as an accountability partner, probably throw them on our Monday feed and be like, this is my deadline. Because it's a little easier for me that way. But I know for a fact I'm not an everyday writer. I did have a conversation with my spouse, which is very important in this world. And Mondays are going to be my day where he's in charge of all the stuff, and I get basically like if I were going to a gym, which is laughable because I don't do that, but he does. And so I'm like, listen, dude, you go to jujitsu, you've got hours away. And so I'm going to need hours locked away. Like, I need it to write. And it worked out well because yesterday I was able to get some marketing junk done that I had been putting off. I got about 3,000 words to my reader magnet,
Wow.
which we should define because for those of you who don't write, a reader magnet is basically a free short story, novella, book, something that we provide to readers in exchange for them joining our mailing list. And so, of course, some people just join and get the free book and drop off. But the idea is that it'll spark enough interest in our writing that they'll be interested to read more. And so I haven't had one and I need one. And so after today, I'm about 5,000 words in, which puts me almost about halfway there, which is good. I write quickly when I do write, which is nice. But I also need to write with like no distractions. So the fact that my dryer was broken and I spent hours at the laundromat today was really helpful because there's no one at the laundromat who wants to talk to you. So I wrote there.
I want to throw in a little plug for the Crazy Writer Chicks Monday Motivation Monday.
Yeah.
For anyone who isn't part of the group or is part of the group but doesn't make use of that, I find it immensely helpful.
Explain, Becca, what it is.
Motivation
I don't know if
Monday
everybody knows
is
it's
every
there.
morning. Well, sometimes it's not morning, but it will be from now on because I'm pre-scheduling things so that I can't end up stuck somewhere and not able to do it. So Motivation Monday, there's a post and it's your chance to write what was your goal for last week? How did you measure up to that goal as far as did you meet it? Did you surpass it? Was it a flop? It doesn't matter, but you got to confess because if you don't, then there's no, that's your self accountability to everyone else. No one's going to call threatening or anything. It's just your way of having external accountability. And then you say what your goal for the next week is. In general, we're talking creative goals because that's the focus of our group, but people sometimes will do things like I've got to clean out the garage, and if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. And we encourage people to do that, and then I will tag from now on, it'll be in the comments, everyone who commented the last time so that they get a reminder to follow up with that because we always forget things. And some
I'll
people
be
do,
honest,
some people don't.
I have been writing up until like 10 o'clock at night just so I could post on that feed and say that I got my words in.
Yeah.
Or it's been like 3 days later and it's like, hey, I forgot and was too scared to tell y'all that I didn't make it. So feel free to just be you on the post. I think that's the most important part. Like you said, you got to post, because otherwise,
right. And it
I'm
has
just
to be
back
honest,
to making my own
there's no
fake
point.
goals and pretending I'm going to reach them, which I don't do. So
yeah.
And I need to be more consistent in checking in and definitely putting
I should send you threatening emails. I think I have earned the right to do that.
I believe so. I would back that up.
Texts.
Yeah.
Winter stuff. No. But I think that's a big part of it. And I posted on Monday. I posted what I was going to do. Part of it was my reader magnet. I wanted to get my reader group set up, which I did. That was fun. I have a reader group now with like more than just me in it. I was like, who's going to be in there? It's just going to be me. There's like 40 lovely individuals who are there listening to what I have to say. As far as what to do on a page versus a group, I have no idea the correct answer, Becca, but I'm just putting everything in my group for right now.
Yeah,
and we'll
I'm
see.
going to look into it. Tia is watching.
I will say, good.
And she says you're funny.
Hey, Tia.
Me?
You. Yes, for
hey, Tia.
when you were discussing how Motivation Monday went for you. She always posts the Motivation Monday. She's
I know she's good about it.
Regular.
I think that's important though, like in order to stay on track, because I've got all these things right? And I've had to make some shifts. I mean, I was about 40,000 words into a book that was not the next series that I was supposed to be releasing. And I've had to literally be like, I'm going to step away from you, but I will come back. Because I have a book that's finished that I just haven't done the final read through and sent to proofreading. And so like for me to be sitting on a book, that's probably the dumbest thing a writer could ever do. So I got to get that one out. Which means I'm going to finish that series first. So after the last week, I've had to make some real shifts in the business side of my creative bit, in order to ensure that it works, you know. And I'd
Yeah,
like to
me
get
too.
those 3 books out quickly. There's really no reason for me not to. So, but I know Tia, she's like out there just throwing freaking stuff out. She's got more releases going on than I even know what to do with. I think she's got her audiobook released. So congrats, girl, if you're listening. We is proud of you.
So I'm excited because I actually have. Okay, baby, I'll be back. My lead magnet, and I have the audio of it, so I'm kind of really excited about it. Come say hello, baby.
Hi.
Tia
Bless
says she's
you.
trying to leave corporate America.
Yeah, I know. She's very motivated to do
Yes.
that. I remember one of the first conversations we had with her, that was the goal. She's more motivated than I am, though. At least she's doing it a lot faster.
Yeah.
I hope we last winter. I think, when it comes back down to this whole investing in yourself thing, and the most important part is, if you don't see the immediate return, to keep working towards it, right? Like I know, well, Becca, you even said it earlier, if there's not a guaranteed return that's right away, it's really hard to make that decision.
Yeah.
But now you need to take a minute and look back at the next, the upcoming year. Next year, you need to look back and then figure out if monetarily it made sense to be there. And even if it wasn't monetarily, did you get the enrichment that you needed to keep moving forward? And I think that's the hard part. Because for me, when I think of investing in myself, I always, always, always think money. I've always thought money. I'm like, oh, well, if I buy this for myself, I'll be smarter. If I have this, then I'll be better. But that's not that's a very small part of it. I could buy all the things in the world, but if I don't implement what I've learned, then it's pointless,
So could we talk a little about, or do we need to keep talking about? I would like to talk a little bit about what holds us back, not just us 3, but like we asked the question in Crazy Rider Chicks, and a lot of people answered and gave lists of things. I'm hearing myself talking.
Sorry, that was me. I pushed a button on my phone.
It's a little unnerving.
It's not me. My dog's trying to attack me.
But
Yes,
some of the
let's
things
talk
people
about
talked
that.
about was, well, maybe if I just say each thing and we can.
Mm-hmm.
So like one of the first things that was mentioned was that it's a habit not to, like you were just saying. And I think that you're probably the person who said that in the group too, that it's a habit not to invest in yourself. You're just used to doing other things. So how do you combat that?
I don't know. You gotta change the habit, right? And I mean, there's like a bunch of stuff out there on habits and how to change habits and so forth. But the reality is, I'm one of those people that I'll put everything else first.
Right, because that's what
which
you're
I
used
think
to
is
doing,
a
right?
lot, yeah. Which I think ties into some of what you had shared, Becca. Even it's everybody else comes first, and then if there's time for me, there's time for me, right? It's like paying your
Because they're
bills and not
demanding.
saving money. Yeah,
Right.
it's like they're in my face. They need a snack, No, I mean, my kids know how to get their own snacks, but still, there's demands, big demands that are on us as individuals, and it's really hard to prioritize that or to. I need to begin prioritizing my writing career in the same way that I do my day job.
Yeah, if
And I
one
need
more
to do
person
it
tells me treat it
consistently.
like a job, I might actually do it.
Yeah. I
So
literally,
many
I mean,
people
what
have
was,
said it now.
I think my biggest takeaway from the conference was I'm sitting there listening to things that I knew. because like I have
Mhm.
been in corporate America my whole career. I have owned businesses before, and I'm like, well, I know how to do that. I know, but I haven't done any of it when it comes to my writing. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous because if I have, and it's one thing to write as a hobby and just enjoy it. And that's great, but that's not why I started this. I mean, I started this because I want people to read my words. I want people to read my stories, but I also want to make money because I would like Tia, like to leave corporate America someday.
Mm.
And so I need to treat it like a business. I need to schedule the time. I need to have my Mondays or my, Wednesday night after the kids go to bed thing. I gotta carve out the
Yeah.
time for me to get these things done.
Tia says make obtainable goals,
Mhm.
which that's another conversation that happened in the group earlier was about that, like, instead of trying to change everything at once and saying, I'm gonna just do this, like that's not maintainable.
Mhm.
You can say, oh, it would be obtainable if I did this, but generally speaking, with rare exception, you can't maintain that kind of change for long. It takes too much energy. So when other things come in that require your attention, you can't do all of that change and the things that have to be done.
Mhm.
It's just too much, and then you burn out or get too worn out or whatever, and then you quit.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the things that,
One of the things,
oh, go ahead. Sorry, Winter.
sorry, hon. I was just going to say one of the things that I've been hearing recently is to create in an environment of stress, and not necessarily around, kind of within yourself. Um, and so things. That's why I started the meditation. Like if I meditate or I write, then I kind of calm on inside me and clear my head. And I think for some people that might be helpful. Just clear your head in meditation, and then it might clear up the writer's block. It might clear up the anxiety of it not being good. It might, just the point is the more you write, the better you'll get, right? And so there's that. And then one of the other fears that people have is they want to see a return, right? They don't only want to invest in something that they know they're going to get something out of. Times you don't know until you what's going to the return's going to be. But
Mhm.
if you are dedicated to make it work, then what the investment is going to be is you find you. So the first thing might not work, so then you might or adapt it or just change it,
Right.
whatever you learn from somewhere else, or come up with your own thing. But in you means keep going until you find what works for
Right.
you.
You don't give up on it. And like Tia was saying about the obtainable goals, like not having a plan could be one of the biggest reasons for not investing. Like if you haven't decided how you're going to invest in yourself and what that would look like, it's just kind of a, oh, it might happen, it might not. It's probably not, unless you have a personality that's really good at that kind of thing already. But most of us don't. And I think especially women, because we've been conditioned all our lives not to think that way. So if we don't have a plan of how we're going to invest in ourselves and what we are trying to accomplish, it just, like you said, it just gets pushed away. And that's also, I mean, it's part of habit too, but I guess you can create a habit by working toward a goal.
Mhm.
Um, but that's hard, especially for some of us who don't tend to be planners or not to be good at planning. When we plan, then we don't end up following through with it
Yeah.
for whatever
Well,
reason.
sometimes it's something you have to like back into.
Found is
Like,
finding.
a lot of the people were I'm sorry.
There's a
One of the
delay.
things that a lot of people were talking about in the
No, go ahead.
conference, which is what I was going to know earlier, is, um, some people set out and say, "Oh, I'm going to make $1 million doing this," but most people have smaller goals. right? Like Elena Johnson was like, I just want to pay for my kids' dance lessons. I need $500 a month. And Kayla Stone in her talk, she was like, I'd like to, replace my family van because it's falling apart. And so I think the goals that are tied to that emotional connection are a lot easier to follow than arbitrary goals like, oh, I'm going to make $1 million, because I'm going to make $1 million is like literally I'm going to go plant a money tree, because it's got to be broken down, right?
Yeah.
And I'm all for going all in, but the reality is a lot of us can't go all in. A lot of us can't afford to go all in. I mean, I can't go and quit my day job tomorrow and be like, oh, I'm going to be a full-time writer and see if it works out in 6 months. That's not feasible. I own a farm. I got a husband and 2 kids, and everybody needs food. And, at the same time, like, I'll be honest with you, there was a post, somebody had posted in the group, they were trying to figure out what the cost of was at Vegas, because their husband was like, oh, I need to make sure, financially, we need to make sure it's worth it for you to go. And so she was trying to find out from everybody how much it really cost. And one of the comments was like, could you afford not to go, an experience like this and blah, blah, blah. And I think, I understand where the commenter was coming from. At the same time, I work in the financial business. I am on a path to being debt free. All I got left is my damn mortgage. If you were to tell me I had to use a credit card to get to Vegas, the answer was going to be no. Because that doesn't fit in my plan for my family and my life. And so we could sit here all day long and tell y'all how fabulous it was, but the reality is it's something that you've got to plan for, and it's something that you've got to figure out a way to make it work. And maybe the goal is just to make enough money to pay for Vegas next year. Like maybe that's the emotional attachment. That's Becca's goal. She's like, I just want to make enough to pay for my trip completely, right? I want to pay off my mortgage. It costs a little more than Vegas, but still.
Well, that could be next year's goal.
Yeah, okay, that works. I could do that in a year. Why not? Yeah, unfortunately, I think our mortgage is less than mine. We just bought our house 3 years ago. So I don't know. I think that's important to keep in mind too.
Also,
Go all in, but within reason. Don't make your life fit into writing. Make writing fit into your life. Who the heck said that? Because I've been literally chanting it in my head.
I don't remember.
I think it was Elena Johnson. Elena Johnson. I think that was her again. One of her like final words things.
Right. It depends on who you are in your situation. And again, whatever kind of art or thing it is, if you make travel videos, well, maybe you can't just leave your job to do that right away. Like maybe you need to build up a following and get sponsors and all that stuff before you just quit everything. But maybe not. Like maybe depending on your life situation, maybe you can sell it all, move into a van, and make real travel videos. Like maybe you could do that. But it's something
do
you've
a
got to
Kickstarter.
consider. Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah, if you're
Bethany
good
did
at
a Kickstarter
Kickstarters.
for Lulu the Beaver.
I tell you guys though, guys, I'm so
Yes.
excited because you know how I like to do creative things that are not just writing. To the merchandising event, and I discovered that I can actually, part of my plan is, while things for my characters that I could have my fans have at their own homes, like that they can take home from same thing enjoying in the book. But I don't have to outsource that. I can use my other creative outlets and combine the two. And from what you guys were saying, it just popped in my head. I'm just really excited about that, because then I don't have to feel like other creative things behind. I can do too. And I'm super stoked about that. So that's what I'm planning, is what am I putting in my story that I can use to create other things outside of it that my fans would enjoy.
Right. One of our authors who is a member, Krishan Simpson, she's got a shop that she's had, I think, longer than she's been writing. And she creates a lot of her own totes and t-shirts and all that, and ships them directly and so forth. And she's been doing that for a while, which I think is cool. I don't know if she's got any centered around her characters, but a lot of like reader stuff, women in business stuff, and so forth. So I mean, I think it's a great idea. I technically have a clothing line. So if anybody's interested, Be Better Clothing, go ahead, find it on Etsy. I haven't sold a thing. I designed the clothes.
Yeah.
I put the logo on them. I set them up there. And then I was like, I'm doing like drop ship. So like, they'll let me know if they sell something and send it. But yeah, you have to like advertise and like do stuff. And I just don't have time. But if you want a shirt that says Be Better because, you know, everybody could be better, then go buy one. Find me on Etsy. You know, it's tricky because it's yet another thing I want to get into. But like with yours though, because your world is so different, like it fits to do that at the same time as your books. But like, what am I gonna do? I mean, I know some romance authors like put their names of their characters on shirts and stuff, and I'm sure people buy them. But like, there's some days of the week I don't remember the names of all my characters. So I don't think that would work for me. Series Bible, it's on my list of to-dos, so I'll get there.
We'll talk about it. But I just want to throw out there that it's hilarious that Krishan in our group is already merching for her stories and her books because the woman who taught the course was also named Krishan.
Oh, that's right, Krishan. Oh, I remember you asking, is that our Krishan? I'm like, no, I don't think that's our Krishan. She's not coming. Yeah. I asked her. But anyway, I mean, there's just so many different outlets and so many different things. And there are ways to do it where you're financially responsible and you're still investing in yourself and investing in your business, which I think we need to talk about that too. Is there a difference between investing in yourself and investing in your creative business?
Yeah, I think there is a big difference. And really what we've been discussing tonight is actually more about business.
I agree.
Because investing in myself for me would be more like, well, I mean, this is part of it. This is part of investing in myself, but investing in myself is much bigger. It's eating food that is good for me, exercising, spending money on myself when I need to, instead of being like, oh, well, you know, I don't really need shoes. Like, I mean, you know, or whatever. I'm just throwing that out there. But education and things that may not necessarily have any business, like books and things that just help me be better or understand things better, but that won't necessarily ever have any financial gain. Right?
You do need new shoes, by the way.
Oh, I threw those out. I do need to get new ones.
Chelsea Becca's post. If you follow her author page, you would have seen she destroyed a pair of shoes in Vegas in a way I've never seen it happen before.
Me neither. I didn't even know that could happen.
It was actually before she got to Vegas.
It did. It started. The run to the plane was not good for those shoes.
Yep. That was the beginning of the end.
Winter, I had a feeling you were going to be the opposite on this one here. So
yeah,
let's hear it.
I am the opposite. For me, no, it's all in one. Because if you invest in your business, and then you can buy the things for yourself, the other things, and you don't have to debate about it back and forth. So for me, it's like the big picture. By investing in that, I'm investing in me so that I can not have to think about investing in myself later. And that's exactly what the event is next month. It's a business event, a network marketing, and how to grow your business. And so as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, I'm going!" And it helped that we're free. I have to go and get the the hotel and stuff, and it's only free gone previously. So I have a special code to go back. I mean, and because I invested in it before, and like not going because of the hotel, I would have felt like, oh, you're not really investing in it. Not only do you have an opportunity to go, it's really close to your home. So for me to make that choice and that decision to go.
I am a two separate things person. not saying that I invest in myself personally in the way that Becca does, because she takes much better care of herself than I do. But I've owned businesses before, and they're great when you're throwing everything at it and it's going really well. And then when it's no longer going really well and your only identifying factor of who you are as a human being is the fact that you owned that business, or that you worked for that company, or that you held that position at work, it's really hard to separate and make business decisions, if that makes sense. We had a business that we shut down about 3 years ago because it just wasn't working anymore, and held on to it longer than I should have, because I'm like, we can turn around, we'll figure. It was real estate. I mean, there's no turning it around in the middle of a pandemic, right? But then exiting that business, it was much harder for me than it should have been, because it became all consuming for so long. So it was more than just putting the money back into it. It was all the time, all the effort, and just that feeling like I failed, because it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And so my hope is with this one, which it's going to be even harder because I'm emotionally tied, obviously, to my characters in my books, that looking at this as a business, through a business lens, more so than it being who I am, is going to be important, you know. And it's the same way with your day job. I mean, I had a huge blow at work this week that I was not expecting. And so you see yourself doing a certain thing or being in a certain position, and when it doesn't work out the way you want it to, it's like, who am I? What am I doing here? What, so am I starting over? No, you're right where you've always been, and so sometimes it takes a little bit of separation between the two, at least for me. Emotionally, I need to separate the two. So, and I probably need to eat better food and,
So would
you
you
read the
say,
Bible and go for walks and do the things that Becca does to invest in herself. I mean, I know them, but I just don't do them.
They're easier for me because I've been doing them. Like, I already have a habit.
Habit of
Not
it.
the food. I eat a lot of junk, or at least habitually I do. Not lately. But because it's my habit and it's familiar to me, it's easy. For me, the hard thing is doing something new that I don't know how to do. And I recently just saw a video about that. Like, maybe the reason you're certain personalities, when we don't see how to do something, it's really intimidating. And until we can see a picture of how it's going to look, we are afraid to try it. And really, what we need to do is learn the skills that we would need to do that thing so that we can do it, instead of thinking, oh, I'm afraid of failure, or because that's not it at all. It's just we can't see a picture of it, so we can't do it. And that was a revelation that from Becca's time. Had to throw that in there again.
We all love Becca Syme. She signed a book for me and gave it to me for free. That was awesome.
oh, that's
Winter has
awesome. This is me raising my hand.
Please.
Because I want to go back. You were saying, Nikki, we have a few more minutes, so I want to you guys think. And since we're talking about investing in yourself, it's a thing as over investing in yourself.
Financially, 100,000%. But I've spent my entire career working in the financial industry, so that's where my mind goes.
You've seen people do it.
Well, I've seen people empty their 401k to start a business before, and I'm like, you did what? Or they take the proceeds of the sale of the home and go start a business. I'm gonna be honest with you, just because you're really good at what you do for a living, it doesn't mean that you can own a business. It doesn't work that way.
I've seen it ruin people.
It does not work that
closely
way.
related to.
Yeah, financially speaking, 1,000% you can overinvest in yourself, and physically you can overinvest in your business. I mean, look at the stories. Look at Craig's stories, or Anderly literally was falling apart at the seams, right? Heart attacks, stress, hospitalizations. I mean, never stopping working. It's not maintainable long term. Is maintainable a word? You can't do it forever. So I think there's quite a few different ways that you can over invest in your business.
I think
Yeah,
the
but
key is
most,
to not stop loving yourself while you're working on those,
Mhm.
taking yourself and
yeah,
who you are, you need into consideration.
yeah, investing in your whole self, not just in the business aspect,
Yeah.
because any one of those things, if you take it too far, could be at best a waste, and at worst could kill you.
Mhm.
So, yeah, for
I
sure.
think I'll be honest with you. You have a tendency to bring up my 6 books in 6 months. That was probably the worst idea I ever had. It was 6 months of chaos. Did I enjoy what I was doing? Absolutely. But I was also running a full-time job and raising 2 kids who were new to us. And I was really nasty. I was really nasty to everyone around me. And it took me removing myself from that, having released the last book in July, and then August, I'm decompressing and I'm like, wow, I was really mean to everyone that I love. I mean, I think rapid release works if you got 6 books ready and you just scheduled them. And when I say ready, I mean mine were ready, but like proofread, formatted, and sitting in Amazon with just your little live dates all set to go. That's the only way I would ever do it again. Because it is a lot of work to, write or rewrite and edit and proofread, and you're waiting on all these external sources. I've got beta readers and ARC readers and a proofreader, and I mean, y'all, my last book, I think I sent it to my proofreader. Oh, poor Vivian Bailey, Sarah's mother, who is my proofreader. I think I sent it to her like a week before the release, and I was like, I'm sorry. Just because she can get it to me in 3 days doesn't mean that I should send it to her 3 days before the release. It
Tia
was
says yes!
stressful.
Exclamation point. And her
Mm-hmm.
goal for January is a 6 series book.
Yeah.
But yeah, having
Wow.
it to go really. I don't
Go
know that I
girl.
could really sit on books, like 6 books, and rapid release them without it just giving me anxiety. Not anxiety, but like, but it's sitting there. Why don't I just push the button?
Why doesn't somebody want it? Well, the hard part is that you forget is with every release, there's marketing and ads and social media posts and responding and reading reviews and all the other stuff too. So by the time
Or
you're
not.
off the high of the release, you still have a ton of work you're doing, even if the books are ready. I think my problem was I was trying to do both at the same time, and it was too much for me. I also don't know if I'll ever write another 6 book series again. 3 sounds like a nice spot. We'll see.
Unless you have
Yeah.
6 brothers who just happen to be 6 ladies.
The Colton brothers. Who wrote those romance books? I loved those. They were some oldie romances by what's the
Drop.
name of the big romance traditional publisher? I can't even remember right now. But yeah, Colton brothers. I think there was like 8 of them, 6 of them, and then there was like a long lost brother and then an adopted sister, and the series just kept going and going and going. And then like all the kids grew up, and then it was the kids' stories, and then there was a prequel of the parents' story. Y'all, I read every single one of them. I was sucked in. Sucked in. It was good. Now I gotta figure out who wrote it so I can tell you.
Do we have anything else to talk about on this particular topic?
Other than my need to go to bed, whoever said sleep, I'm with you. Sleep is an investment in yourself. I saw that comment this week and I was like, yes, it is important.
Yeah. Do we know what we're doing in 2 weeks? We don't know yet, do we?
I just got a yes and a what time. So,
Oh, yay!
and I need to get our freaking website done by then.
Yay.
So more details to come. But on the 30th, we will have a very special guest speaker that we met in Vegas. Y'all, she is phenomenal.
And she has the most beautiful speaking voice.
She
I
really
mean,
does. We're gonna have to
it's
convince
this
her to
like
get into
low and
audiobooks.
yeah. I said, do you podcast? Like, do you do the because She
She's
just
got
has
a
the voice for
podcast.
it.
Yeah, you'll learn all about her. So we will be back on the 30th for 24, 23. What did I say today was? I think I said today was
I think today's
23.
23, so it'll be, yeah, the
16.
24th.
Today is 23. So
November
24.
24th.
Our 4th live still blows me away. There's been that many. We'll be back on 8th, and we'll see you all then.
No. What did you say?
You told me the
No.
30th. I asked her
30th,
for the
November
30th.
30th.
What
30th.
did I say?
You said the 8th just a
The
second
8th.
ago. 8th.
It's a good thing I told Kristen
It's
the 30th.
late.
So November 30th,
It's
and
bedtime.
so that means happy Thanksgiving because we won't see you before then.
Yes.
That's
Happy
right.
Thanksgiving. I will be feeding my family for the first time.
Unless you did a month ago.
They did.
All right.
All right, you guys. I'm out of here. I clearly need to go to bed now. It has been great. I will talk to you all in the next one.
Right. Good
Bye.
night.
Bye, guys.